See, there are two types of thinking, right? There's a very focused thinking, which is what I would call in a yoga practice, single point of focus. It's that concentrate and meditate, don't even blink your eyes, you might lose the balance. And that's what I'm showing you here with the drishti, with your own single point of focus, eye gaze in the front mirror, is that focused concentration. But when you're in that state, you shift over to the kind of no mind, beyond mind that I keep kind of referencing for a reason. So there was a story that I heard about actually the artist, the master artist, Salvador Dali. And do you know this story?
No, but I love Salvador Dali, so I'm interested. I did go to his museum in Spain, but yeah.
Wow, incredible. Well, and by the way, Thomas Edison also. They both, and by the way, Albert Einstein also, and by the way, all great yogis with all certainty understand that we have to get past the thinking mind. And that is the way that concentration silences the chatter and gets you beyond mind into pure time. So Salvador Dali, what he used to do is now I'm going to use my own words to tell you this story. For example, me, I do the most powerful creation, manifestation, when I call it like, and typically it's when I lay my body down, but it might be in any pratyahara situation, like a float tank or a sauna or, anything like that, where I get what I call me, and me at the table. So I get my conscious mind, my subconscious mind, who's always at the helm, whether you know it or not, and the super conscious mind. I get me, and me at the table, and we have a little talking to, because if there's any inner conflict, if there's any dispute or disagreement between me, and me, then it, no way, no how, right? So you've got to get everyone resolved. Well, and now I'm going to expand upon that concept to the thinking world of Albert Einstein and Salvador Dali and Thomas Edison, who knew this and practiced it in a very powerful, tangible, effective way. They knew with all certainty that when they are using that focused mind, they're working hard to try to solve something on the level of intellect, on the level of mind. That's not when the answers come. The answers come when you let go of it. So for example, Salvador Dali, what he used to do is he would visualize a piece, create it, think on it, develop it in his mind, in the thinking mind. And then he would take his set of keys in his hand, and he would sit up in a chair with his keys in his hand, but his arm hanging downside, and he would just fall asleep. And so in other words, he would enter that state of super consciousness where he had, he and he at the table, and far more open to receiving, beyond mind, pure time, no mind. And the second that the keys would clink or drop, he would open his eyes and get to a piece of paper or his art.
Right.
And that's where the answers would come.
He was in that alpha creative state.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is very, very similar to a yoga practice. And that's why I called mine creation, because remember, I told you that I would lay my body down at night and just visualize. I was so excited. I could not do it. And I'd be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How can I do that? How can I do that? How can I do that? And by the way, I should clarify this because it's been misinterpreted in the past. I was talking to a student one time about my, what I call how can I consciousness. And remember, you've got to go back to that first talk that we had, because I told you that there are a lot of teachers that say, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And there are also teachers who go, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. And some teachers do both. You have to do this, you can't do that, you have to, And I let go of all that. And I just said, how can I? But what I meant by that was therapeutic. This has been misinterpreted in a way that was not therapeutic. So in other words, how can I get in a position where gravity indicates to me that this is the right position by virtue of less muscling and strain? How can I open what I need to? How can I strengthen what I need to? How can I create strength in that position? How can I? This is all therapeutic. It's all sovereign. So please don't viewers, please don't misinterpret. One time I had a student who said, okay, I like this. How can I? So she kind of got herself in a certain position and then had one person do this to her and one person do that to her. That is not what I'm talking about. In other words, you know, you get over here and pull and you get over there and push. No, 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 that's not what I'm talking about. My teaching is, you know, the highest level of therapeutic, using your strength to create space, expressing range into the space. And then when you use your strength to create flexibility, you get stronger, and then the stronger you get, the more space you create, so the more range you can express. So it's this upward cycle, right? So again, there's like a lot going there's like a lot going on there. It's a lifetime of learning for sure.